This is the palette from Lurella, Pick of the Patch. I figured I would do some swatches. I wanted to bring that in close so that you can see all the tones. I know I did not swatch this when I got it, and I should have. I'm not actually going to use my finger. I have all the brushes that I think I need, one for each pan, and I'm going to hate this later when I have to clean them. But let's see how they go on with a brush. I'm just trying to make sure everything's good in focus there. So let's just start, and I'm just going to come into here and load up a brush like I would for my eye. So I'll show it to you right there, and then we'll just see how they apply. Usually they don't apply too well unless you're either, use your finger, but this looks nice right there. And I just have a piece of paper off to the side so that I can put all these brushes on. And that is Maple. The next one is Leaves. I don't know if you can see that on the brush, but we'll come here. And that's very light. I don't know if you guys can see that at all, but definitely buildable. You can see a little bit of that, not too much. The next one is Fall Vibes. Oh, there's lots of, you can see that on this brush, lots of in the pan, kick back in the pan. That's a nice shade. Ooh, I like that. The next one is Pie, and that's also like a shimmer. I'll put these off. I don't know if you guys can see that on the brush. Hopefully that goes on nice. I'll pack it on like I would my eye, because I probably wouldn't just rub it on. But that's very pretty. Then the next one is Gorge. You can see that on the brush. And we'll go right here next to it. That's a pretty color. I like that so far. Next row, this one here, we're going to do is Autumn. And that's what that looks like on the brush. Just trying to see. I'll come this way. Oops. That's very pretty. I hit that. Like I would, blend it in and keep going, but that's really nice. Oh, I like that a lot. The Gorge and Autumn would be nice together. Jack-o'-lantern. Let's see you. You're going to be bright. You can see that's bright. I'm trying to figure out the best way to do this here. You can see all the dust. But that's pretty also. Okay, let me wipe some of them off so that we can continue. I only have so much arm space. Okay, let that dry. And there's lots falling on my table, but that's okay. I'll clean that up all at the end. Make sure that's good and dry. So then we have to move on to Festive. Let's just grab a brush. Festive is the green. And this one looks very pretty. I don't know if you guys can see that. Nice and dry here. Well, that's pretty, and that's going on nice with the brush. Because sometimes your fingers are not, I know unless you put it on your eye, it's hard to tell. But that's pretty. Next we have, oops, sorry, I just knocked the camera. Sweater Weather. This would be a good, like, center. Because that's real light. There's going to be you're going to have a lot of powder falling on your, you can see that there. Nice and light. A lot of powder. I'll show you everything that's falling. And then Pumpkin Patch is next. And I'm just dabbing in the pan like I would. I don't know if you guys can see. This one's going to be light also. I might have to, this brush might be a little big. It's hard to really see that one. You can see it slightly, just barely. I can barely see it myself. Then we're into the tones that I did swatch. This is Apple Picking. You can see that on the brush. I'm trying to see where it went before. And this is pretty too. This is nice and light. Let's see with the brush. It seems a little darker. Nice little shade. Then we have Hay. And here it is on the brush. That's a pretty shade. Right there. Then we have Harvest, which is like a, looks like a copper bronze. That's really going to be dark. Yeah, that's a dark shade. This is a small brush. This is not the right brush, but I just grabbed. You can see that, very pretty. And then Cider is like a burnt red, like a deep red. You can see that on the brush. And that's not real dark either, but that's pigmented. I'm lining all these up here. And then Woods, like this is an angled brush. I shouldn't have grabbed this one, but it'll work for today. You can see that on there. I'm going to, I guess you can still see that. It's a great darkening shade. Let me just give these a wipe here. They come off really nice. And I'm not going to wipe my table. You can see because you're going to get fallout on your face. So you can either put, they have the patches that you can put under, or just do your eyes first. The next one is Scarecrow. This one looks so pretty. If you can see that on the brush. And make sure my arm is dry. Not that I don't have 50 million brushes to pick from, but we'll just see what this one looks like. Oops. I don't know if I was on camera for that. But that's pretty. It's not as dark as I thought. I'll go a little heavier up here. And just, that's pretty. Next is Spooky Season. I did swatch this in the video. And there that is right there. And that's just a light. That would be a nice transition. You can see it a little bit, not much. PSL. Let me just use. And I'm just dabbing the pans, as you can see, like I would normally. So that's going to be nice and bright. Not as bright as I thought. But if you wanted to do a little bit of an orange look, you could use that one and this one. You could use Scarecrow and PSL. They would be nice together. Then we have Earthy, which I did swatch. Once again, a little bit of the wrong brush, but we'll get the, and you can see, but that is definitely, like if I'm able to get that off the other shade, you know, just try to blend it a little bit so that it's not such harsh corners. Let's build that up a little bit. Oops, I'm off camera. I'm so sorry. So that's kind of light right there. And then the last one is Kernel, which is a nice like copper or gold yellow. Get some on the brush right there. Not a ton. And that's that. So let me wipe these off. Very nice palette. I do think that this is pretty wearable. I'll show you a close-up of the pan, of the palette, I mean. Let's go right here. So you can see all the powders that are sitting in from doing that. Now, normally I would be using a brush, but you can see all that. And then, I don't know if you'll be able to see this. Let me come down a little bit. Right there. And come out. So you can see all the material that when I had my arm there putting the brushes on. So, you know, you are going to get fallout for sure. But I think this is a wonderful palette, and I'm happy I kept it. So it's right there. Let me just move you out of the way there. So it's right there. I want to try one with my finger just to see right here. Let's make sure you're good and dry. See, that is much brighter with your finger. I think when you come into the foils, your finger is probably the best. Because with the brush, which this is the brush, you know, loading up and putting it on, it's just not as bright. As you can see, the difference. This is more muted, so if that's what you want, use your brush. But if you want something that is definitely brighter, then just use your finger. Because now you're getting some good payoff. See the difference? These two are my finger and that was a brush. So I definitely, you know, that just depends on you. I, you know, sometimes will use my finger if I'm just putting, you know, I want it brighter. But if you don't use a brush, obviously it goes on, but it just will go on lighter instead of so dark. So that is the Lurella palette pick of the patch. So this is the palette from Macy's, the Essentials Face Palette from the Beauty Crop. I'll give you a close-up there. And this one, I'm just going to use my finger rather than more brushes. I'm just trying to come in a little closer here so that you guys can still see the pans. So, I mean, these feel nice. It's just a real light shade. And that, you know, would be a good base shade. Here's like a brown. And that's nice. I would use brushes, but I just dirtied like so many brushes. There's the copper shade. These are nice. Love. Then we come up here. Which finger didn't I use? We'll use the one for this. This is a Brighten, so you can see that right there. And we'll just come here. Like that is beautiful. Nice. So that's, oh, we got one more on that side. So let's just make sure my finger's dry. And this is a highlight. Right there. And let's just come down here. So that's like a pink highlight. Okay, I'm just wiping them off. Cleaning my fingers here so that we can move on. From when I did the swatch from the last palette. Now I have to clean all them brushes. But I wanted to try the palette, the Lurella palette with brushes and see how it worked. Okay, so my fingers are dry. So this is a blush. Well, let's see what you look like. Just a pretty, like, pink. And that's like a foil. I don't know if I would use that as a blush. And here this says Enhance. And that might be an actual, like a good, I don't know if you guys can see that. Let me do this again. Here, like a good shadow topper. I don't know if you guys can see that, a little bit of shimmer. Here we have a deep bronze. That's like a, it's either a black or a brown. That's a nice brown. I mean, these are nice. They're not patchy. This is a bronze right here. Let's see what you look like. Now, okay, I could see that as a bronze powder, but you could also use as an eyeshadow. Then we have, let's see, I have to make sure my fingers are dry. I don't want to touch if my fingers are wet because the outcome will be different. This says Transition right there. That's really pretty. These are not patchy at all. This says Topper. That's bright. But that's pretty. Lots of coppers. Great for fall. And this says Crease. And this is like a purple. Wow. That is beautiful. Wow. So that is the Essentials palette. I think made for Macy's. The face palette, face and eye palette, it says, from the Beauty Crop. If you got this palette, I think, I mean, I did. If you get Macy's, I think we got a winner there for, like I said in my description box, I don't think we've ever received a full-size palette. So I'm excited to continue to play with this. This is the Natasha Denona Zendo palette, and I'm going to do some swatches. I did not swatch it in my boxy video, but I'm going to do that right now. Here's the palette, and here's a close-up of everything. Beautiful. So let's get into this. Let me move this down. Or you know what, I can probably zoom in a little bit. Let me come down so you guys can see. So this first one is Mindful. Right here. Wow. Wow. Beautiful. I'm just wiping my fingers off as I go. This next one is Luster. I mean, these feel wonderful. There's Luster. I mean, this is beautiful. Next, we have Balance. Do some nice looks with this. Right there. Love it. Then we have Flow. It's like more like a teal foil. Yeah, look at that, like a teal blue. I love it. And then here we have Mantra, and this is a true like foresty green, true dark green. Look at that. There's nothing wrong with any of that. So that's the first row. Just trying to get all this off so that we can continue with row 2. Thank God this is not like 5 rows of... This would take forever. Just real quick, drying my arm and my fingers. So the next one that we're going to do is right here, and that is Aura. I'll use my little finger first this time. Very, very pretty. Like, I'm not disappointed in any of these. Beautiful. Then we have Vigor. That's like a nice red. Orangey red. Not a true red. Then we have Relief. Right here. That's pretty. That's more like a salmon color, in my opinion. Then we have Equilibrium. This is more of a blue than a teal, where the other one was more teal. That's more of a dark, a little bit of a black base to it. And then I'll just wipe one of these off for right now. Then we have Breathe. It's a real pretty green right here, like a mint green. And that's pretty. So that's that row. Let's just get all these off my fingers and off my arm. I'm not disappointed. Well, I'm never disappointed in Natasha palettes, but this one is beautiful. Beautiful. So the next row we have Sense right here, and this is, what kind of color is that? Like, that's like a bronze color. Let's make sure, oh, you're not dry. Let's make sure you're good and dry there. Right here. Oh, look at that. Wow, go easy with these. Tranquil. It's another like foil. That's beautiful too. Then we have Calm, which is coming up a little light there, but that's a nice shade. A little bit of peach maybe. And then this one is Yama. And we'll see what that looks like there. That's pretty too. I mean, I'm not disappointed in any of these at all. Great shades. Let's wipe that finger off. And then the last one is Zeal, and that's a brown. And they feel wonderful. That's like almost like, looks like a mud brown, like a real dark brown. Yeah, a little, maybe a little bit of a black undertone. So there's that row. Tell me what you thought. I think these are great. I like the teal blues. I mean, I like the little bit of the, like the lighter tones in here. You could do a nice look with greens, maybe a little bit of brown. There's lots of good combinations of colors. I don't like, this is Vigor. It was okay. It was light, but I don't know if I would use that one as much as I thought I would. So that is the Zendo palette. And there's not a lot of product in the pans, but that is beautiful.